Hello and welcome. In today's video I want to talk about how you can get your very first job in IT, and I'm specifically talking about tech support jobs, how you can get and find your very first tech support job. Before you start applying, however, I really want to talk about the strategy how to get there. Because if you don't have any work experience in IT, it will be challenging. So you have to do something to really showcase to the future employers that you have the knowledge and the skill set to really work in IT and that they're making the right investment into you so that when you get hired, they know that the work gets done. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 different certifications that I want you to take a look at and to follow and then pass the exam and become certified. With these certifications under your belt, you will be in a great position to apply for tech support jobs all over the country. Tech support is a great area to get into IT. It helps you to build a foundation, and from there you can pivot in so many different areas. It is really a great area to be in. Why am I concentrating on tech support jobs here for you? Well, one reason is that tech support jobs have a fairly high turnover. And specifically the reason is that people use it as a very first stepping stone to get into IT, and then they move on into different roles. So that's really why there's always a constant demand for tech support people. In addition, somebody, after all, has to walk up to a desk and set up a computer or fix a computer or take it and ship it somewhere. So, of course, there's much more involved than just taking a computer and shipping it somewhere or replacing a hard drive. But what I'm talking about here is that even in large environments, large corporate environments with a lot of automation and management tools, there's still a need for hands-on work, and that's where tech support is. So there's always a high demand for these type of jobs. The work shifts over the years, and don't be mistaken, it's not always going to be a very labor-intensive job. There's more to it. But at least at the moment, there's still a significant amount of demand. I don't see this changing. And for you, really, if you want to get into IT, it's a really great step with overall a low barrier of entry, really. So let's get started. Let's look at the 3 certifications that I have in mind here for you. And then we can discuss this later on in the comments. Also want to say here, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel so that when I upload new videos that you get notified. So how do we get into IT if we do not have any IT job experience, we do not have education on that side? It's always like the chicken and the egg. What comes first, the job experience or the education? So sometimes you have to mix this up a little bit. In this case, we want to look at a total of 3 certifications that you want to acquire before you start applying for your first IT job. These certifications, 2 of those are Microsoft specific, and the 3rd certification is, I want to say, technology-wise, slightly different. The 3rd certification is the COMPTIA A+ certification, and as you go through that training and the exam for that, you will learn a lot about computer hardware and how to repair computers, how computer functions. So it's very important to understand everything underneath the hood, so to speak, and to build up a solid foundation. So these 3 certifications that we're going to talk about are giving you exactly that foundation that you need to apply for your very first tech support job. So here on the screen, I have the 2 Microsoft certifications that I want you to take a look at. The first one is for Windows 10. The exam for this certification is the exam MD-100. And together with the exam MD-101, you would become Microsoft 365 Certified Modern Desktop Administrator Associate. So let's have a look at these 2 certifications. So the first one is the Windows 10 one. And this certification covers really the ins and outs that you need to know about Windows 10. You probably run Windows 10 on your computer at home and potentially even at work if you already have worked in an office setup. So Windows 10 is a very versatile operating system. So it's really designed that it can work and can be managed in very large environments. So think about a company with 5,000 employees. Every employee has a laptop or a desktop running Windows 10. So you cannot manage these machines by going from machine to machine and then making configuration changes or deploying patches or whatever it may be. So it's just not feasible. It's just not possible to manage 5,000 machines just by hand. So in this Windows 10 exam, you will learn about Windows 10 from a corporate or an enterprise-specific perspective, so that you know how Windows 10 works, what features it has, how it works in a corporate environment specifically. So we're looking at it slightly from the angle of how it's being managed. The second exam and the second group that we're talking about here is the Managing Modern Desktops, the exam MD-101. And again, this is for Windows 10, but in this case, it's very specific about how do you manage these type of operating systems and computers in a corporate/enterprise environment. So it's very important to understand that like 5,000 machines, the example that we talked about just a moment ago, you cannot manage by hand. So you need tools to manage these Windows 10 machines. You need tools to push down policies, to pull data back from these machines to identify what is, as an example, the patching level. Does every machine have the latest Microsoft security patches installed? What software is running on these machines? So the Managing Modern Desktop environment and the exam, and then becoming certified ultimately, that's really giving you that knowledge as you go through the training of how to manage these machines from a corporate perspective. So those two exams and certifications here really will give you a solid foundation for the operating system and the management tools that are running in most of the larger companies here in corporate America, and also in many small and mid-sized companies. Small and mid-sized companies do not necessarily have the same management tools or the ability to manage machines the same level as a larger corporation. So that's where your job role could be slightly different, but it's still important that you understand how to manage these systems in a corporate environment. So the third certification that we want to look at is the COMPTIA A+ certification. And I just switched to the COMPTIA website, and I have the A+ certification page open here on the screen. The A+ certification is not necessarily vendor specific. It's a more generic certification, but it teaches you the core technologies for how a computer works. So be it the hardware level, be it about the basic security, how does the cloud work, data management. So these are important pieces to become A+ certified. Together with the Microsoft certification, you will get the computer/foundation information here from CompTIA A+, and then you put Windows 10, the operating system, on top of it, and that gives you a really solid foundation to get your very first job in IT. So let's have a quick look here at what the A+ certification offers. So there are two exams that you have to take. You have the Core 1, the 220-101, and the Core 2, 220-102 exams that you need to cover. So here we go through it one by one. Demonstrate baseline security skills for IT support professionals. So the next thing that you will learn is about configure the device operating system. So this is not just for Windows computers. This is for Mac, for Linux, for Chrome OS, and for Android and iOS. So mobile devices are part of a larger corporate environment. People use these devices to check on email and potentially access other tools. Mobile devices in a corporate environment play a very important role these days. So as an example, they're not just used for email or for instant messaging. They're also used for multi-factor authentication. So then, of course, troubleshooting problems really related to hardware, be it a faulty hard drive or a faulty memory stick, whatever it may be. So it's the basics that you learn here. Then, of course, when you connect computers, they need to talk on the network. So you need to understand networking. How do the computers and the servers and routers and switches and everything communicate with each other? So you will learn this as part of it, and you will be questioned during the exam about how the technology works. And then, of course, configuring and supporting PCs, mobile devices, and IoT devices. IoT stands for Internet of Things. So in a very basic way, you could say it could be a smart home device or an internet-connected fridge. I mean, I'm just showing you some examples here or telling you about some examples, but Internet of Things is really, I want to say, dumb devices in a certain way connected to the internet, and those need to be managed, they need to be secured. And then, of course, it also talks about basic like data backups and data recovery. So not necessarily all the details regarding a certain vendor or a certain technology, but it talks about the different type of backup. So you can have a full backup or an incremental backup as an example. There are differences in how you restore the data and also how you retrieve the data in general. So lots of basic knowledge that you learn here. And again, it's covered with the 2 exams. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you can see that these certifications really give you an advantage and give you that knowledge that you need to get into IT. Really follow along, use the books and the training material that is available. It gives you that foundation that you need. It gives you structure for learning. So, and then just spend the appropriate time preparing for these exams. They're not super difficult. Of course, they're challenging, so don't underestimate the effort that is needed. But going through these certifications really gives you that foundation that you need to get into IT. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I hope I see you in my next video. Bye-bye and have a great day.